Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody! It is Christmas Day, and I'm not generally the type of person that does a Christmas show. That's not really what I do, but there is something I've been meaning to do for months now, and actually Christmas would be the perfect time to do it, so I thought I would go ahead and do it for you today on Christmas. What am I doing? I'm giving out presents, or I'm putting things up on my shelf as a present to people who have supported this channel throughout this year. So it's a nice end of year thing to look back and give thanks to the people who have supported the channel on Patreon throughout the year, but also something I should have done a long time ago. Basically on Patreon, if you support the channel at a $20 a month level, you're supposed to get a little stand in the back over here in the answer file cubby. What's been up here all this time have been kind of what I call my OG answer files, people who were really supportive of the channel way back in the day when I only had, you know, a few thousand subscribers. They are somewhere else right now. They will go back up later, but for now I'm going to focus on these $20 a month Patreon supporters. Also, stick around because after the $20 supporters, I have some extra special presents that I'm going to be putting back there for people who have really been supporting the channel for a really long time. But first, let me rearrange real quick. These are just lenses that I put up here because I needed something to put up there, so they're gone. And I put a nice little step thing so I can stack these up. The first one up is Daniel Blankstein. Now before I show this to you, I need to explain these little backdrops, these little stands that I'm putting up. Some of them are based on things that I know about these people, and some of them are just kind of word associations. They're super random, so if you're one of these people and you don't really like what I put up here, just let me know and I'll put something else up there. It can be whatever you want. So Daniel Blankstein's last name made me think of a really cheesy 90s movie with Damon Wayans in it called Blank Man, so he gets the Blank Man logo. Next up is Hugh Thomas. The name Hugh made me think of Hugh Hefner, who passed away this year, so a little Hugh and a Playboy thing. By the way, these could be totally rearranged later on. I'm not used to wearing a Santa hat. This is a very crap. You know, when you go to the dollar store, you expect a certain level of, you know, quality, and I got it. Next up is a gentleman who goes by D. Rudley in the Patreon thing. D. Rudley made me think of Dudley Do-Right. This one's actually been up there for a while, but I'm re-putting it back up. This is Luis Hurtado, who seems to like BMWs. Next up is Jack Strang, whose name made me think of Doctor Strange. Next up is Darren Noland, whose little icon in Patreon is an owl, so he gets an owl. Thanks, Darren. Mitch Miller is next up. His initials are M&M, so I went with the candy. This one's been up there for a while. Andre Wetzel, Wetzel's Pretzels. And then there's Chris Modisett, whose name made me think of Modest Mouse, and this was on one of their album covers, so. By the way, Chris, the balloon has special significance to me. I actually proposed to my wife in a hot air balloon, so. The next supporter up goes by the name of Ronnie. This is not spelled the same way, but it made me think of one of my favorite Saturday Night Live sketches. This is super word association. The next one is William Dean Harris. For some reason, his name made me think of Richard Dean Anderson, who was in Stargate. God be with me if I can say this name right. Elvin Haugen Hellerand? I think I said that right, but anyway, Hell in your last name made me think of Hellboy. If you didn't ever get called Hellboy, you really should have. Jonathan Francisco on Patreon. His logo is the Dodgers logo. He's an LA Dodgers fan, so you get a little Dodgers action there. And yeah, this is super random. Next up is Will Michaels, which I combined Will Ferrell and Lorne Michaels, who Lorne Michaels is the producer of SNL, who also made Talladega Nights. So you get a little me Talladega Nights thing. Focus. Come on, camera. There we go. one's been up there a while too, but thanks again, Ilya Rasta. That's his icon on the thing. Oh, I forgot. These next two are random AF. The next guy is Shane Sheehan, and it made me think of Ed Sheeran, the musician, and he's got kind of a weird lazy eye, so I have weird lazy eyes. You're welcome, Shane. And last but not least is Edward Holt, and his little icon on Patreon is this statue that I think is in Korea, where it's like the most buff Jesus on a cross in the world. He's like looks like Macho Man Randy Savage. So I found this, and it just made me laugh. Buff Jesus. So these are my current $20 a month answer files. On the Patreon page, it's actually the mountain level is what it's called. If you join at that level, you will be added to this. The original answer files that have been in this cubby, I will find other places for you. You are not gone or forgotten. You will be there. By the way, just really quickly, this is a little bit of a diversion, but I've had people ask many times what this picture is up here. And basically, this is a picture of Albert Einstein and Charlie Chaplin at the premiere of one of his movies or something like that. And the reason why I have this up here is because when I was a kid, and I don't know why, I got really into Charlie Chaplin when I was a kid. You know, when you're a kid, you get into weird things. And I would actually dress up like him. I had a little Hitler mustache and everything. I would go around with a little cane, and I had this whole routine that I put on. I think I even like performed it at old folks' homes and whatnot. I also share a birthday with Albert Einstein, March 14th of every year, Albert Einstein's birthday. And so somewhere along the way, I was probably, I don't know, 9, 10, something like that. My aunt bought me a framed photo of this meeting. And it wasn't this one. I printed this one out. I made this myself. But I had this up on my wall in my room all the time when I was a kid. And then one day I kind of ran across it again and I remembered it. And I thought, you know what? That's the perfect encapsulation of my channel. You know, you got your humor and you got your science stuff. And so having that sort of background, having that connection to this photo, and having it being sort of like a visual metaphor for what this channel is all about, I thought it deserved a place up on the shelf. And so that's why it's there, and it will stay there. And now you know why. All right, now on to the big stuff. I set up my Patreon channel, gosh, what, about 1.5 years ago now. And there are some people that have been supporting from the very beginning. Some of them have been supporting at a high level, some of them have been supporting at, you know, a lower level, but they have contributed over time. And what I wanted to do was give special recognition to people who have been there for a really long time and have contributed a good chunk of money to helping this channel stay afloat and keeping me doing this and putting out more content for all you guys. It's a big part of why I'm able to do as much as I'm able to do on this channel. So they deserve a spot up here, and more than just a little stand, they get whole things, which I'm about to give right now. First, let me get rid of something. It's a bowl. It's a bowl. Okay, now I got space. All right, so first and foremost, there is somebody that's been up here. I tried to do this for him a long time ago, but what I ordered was not as big as I thought it would be. I thought I was getting something that would kind of take up some actual space in there, and it wound up being this. It's this big. So this is for Matt Herring. Longtime viewers may have heard his name here and there before because he's been supporting this forever at the highest level, and I couldn't be more thankful for it. He's also contributed in comments and in discussions on Patreon. He joins in our monthly video chats, so I've gotten to know Matt pretty well. And the reason why I stuck with Tron is just because I probably need to move on to something else, but it's colorful. He had a pair of headphones when we were talking that had this like neon blue ring on it, so I called them those Tron headphones. Well, this has been up there for a while. It's way too small though for the amount that he has supported me over the last year. So I found something much bigger, still Tron related. Matt, that's for you. See if I can get it to stand up. Next guy up is Hans Olaf Sternholm. I think I'm saying your name right. And the amazing thing about him is he's been supporting all this time at a pretty decent level, but he actually opted to not receive any of the perks. For whatever reason. He just wanted to support the channel. He didn't really want anything in return, which is spectacularly, I mean, you're such a better person than I am. So since he is from Norway, I believe, I decided I would go with a little bit of Thor's hammer action. Put it right back there. Hans, thank you. Next up is David Wendell. He's been supporting, and I've been in touch with him and email and whatnot for a very long time on the channel. I went back and looked, and the first video that he left a comment on was about the possible existence of a ninth planet or a planet X. And the picture on the thumbnail was of the Death Star. For some reason I used that. So I found a cool, like, big Death Star. Put that right up front there. Thanks, David. So one of the OG answer files that was up here a long time ago, I said that they're all gonna find another place. Well, one of them is not gonna find another place because I found something even better for him. Aaron Robinson has been, he's been on some of the monthly calls. I've gotten to talk to him personally. He's been supporting on Patreon, and he was supporting the channel way before Patreon even. And this was his little thing, his little stand that was back there because it made me think, Danger Will Robinson. His last name's Robinson. Again, total word association. But you been upgraded, sir. You done been upgraded to an actual living 3D robot. Aaron, you rock, dude. So next up is Jonathan Melnick. I was told by him that he plays a silver flute, and I started to get a whole flute to put back there, but keeping in sort of a movie pop culture theme kind of thing, I found this guy. His name was Droopy McCool. He's one of the Mos Eisley Cantina guys, I believe, but he's not playing a silver flute, but he's certainly playing a flute, and he's got awesome camel toes on his actual toes. Keep him in the Star Wars world over here. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, this was supposed to be bigger, and I apologize, and if I can find something better, I will. But it turned out to be kind of small. But this is for Edward DeLumen, who is a software engineer. So I found the like a chip from the T3 or from T2, the little Skynet chip. I thought it was pretty cool, but it is much smaller. It's much smaller than I thought it would be. So I'll put it back there. If I can find something better, I'll replace it. There you go. Thanks, man. All right, next up is Michael Domik. I think I'm saying your name right, but on Patreon, he goes by the name AltPod. So I was looking for all kinds of different pod-related things, and I wound up finding this, and I thought it was really cool. This is an actual seed pod from a plant called the Devil's Head plant, for the reason that you could probably figure out by looking at it. Look at that thing. This is an actual seed pod. This wasn't like designed by anybody. This is a nature thing. I just thought this was supremely cool. So it's smaller than I would like for it to be, but this is a real thing, so I can't, make it bigger. But Michael, this is for you. Thank you, sir. We got to put a little stand behind it to make it stand up, but maybe that'll work. All right, so this one is just pure word association. The next guy up is Beto Chagas, who, the last name Chagas, there's a species of fly called the Chagas fly. It actually bites really badly. It's not a good thing, so I'm sorry this is a bad connotation, but because of that, I was trying to find something from The Fly, the movie The Fly, like Brundlefly, and I couldn't find a Brundlefly stand, but I did find this, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So I'm putting that one back there. Come on, focus, focus. There we go. Brundlefly 2020. Okay, so these next two are lame. I'm just gonna come out and say it. These are lame because these are kind of filler. These are temporary things. I didn't have a chance to get for these people something that was permanent, and I didn't want to put this off any longer doing this video because I've already been putting it off way too long. So these are fillers. The first one is going to be for Michael Benson. He has his own band, so I was trying to get a CD of his up there, but that didn't work out. So anyway, this guy's been on the shelf for a while. Many of you have already noticed him. This is the Iron Giant, and he used to just be back there because I like the Iron Giant, but for now anyway, until I get a permanent one, this represents Michael Benson. Michael, thank you, sir. Superman. Okay, and last but not least is a personal friend of mine. His name is Tom Mills. He runs the Green Shorts channel. We hang out online at least once a week, and he actually sells these little rocket stoves that he will send to me eventually. I haven't gotten one yet, but in the meantime, I'm going to replace him with another guy that's been up there for a while. Mr. Mort from Orc. So this is gonna represent Tom Mills for a while until I get his rocket stove. So Tom, thank you, dude. Okay, each person that is up here in those two cubbies have contributed over $200 cumulatively to this channel. Again, I can't overstress how much this helps out, you know, to keep me making these videos and to allow me to focus more on doing these videos and not be having to split up my time into so many different places. If you're not a contributor on Patreon, the sharing that you do on social media, the good comments, the just being there and saying nice things is enough for me, and I do thank you for that. But if you're in the comments right now, please give a shout out and thanks and an applause to the people who have made the way up onto the stage here, all of them, because they're really putting their money where their mouth is so that you don't have to. And I hope this at least makes up a little bit for all the good that you've done for me in the last year. I do thank you. Now, there is, as Steve Jobs used to say, one more thing. You guys know I have been pimping shirts from a guy named Michael in Prague, who is an amazing designer, and we've been offering those up to you guys. And that helps support the channel as well. It also helps support a really great artist. And he has helped me out, and we actually have a shirt that is an Answers with Joe shirt that is, right now anyway, only for Patreon supporters. And here's what it looks like. Boom. It is simple, it is direct, it just says answer file. So you can just wear this, and it doesn't have Answers with Joe anywhere on it, it just says answer file. So there's just nothing on the back. So if somebody comes up and asks you what that's for, then you're just gonna have to tell them all about the channel. So right now it is only for Patreon members. You can order it. I'll put up something on Patreon so that you can order this if you want to. But if cumulatively you have contributed more than $50 to the channel, you get this for free. All you have to do is give me your address. I will ship it out to you for free because you deserve it. So that's it. I'm gonna wrap this up so that you can continue swimming in toys and wrapping paper and spending time with your families. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe Christmas. I will have another video coming out next week for New Year's. And other than that, I'm gonna be taking it kind of easy and relaxing as much as I can for the rest of the year, and I hope you're able to do the same. Thank you guys so much. It's been an amazing year, and I will see you next week. Love you guys. Take care.